From the poet Wendell Berry. Make a place to sit down. Sit down. Be quiet. You must depend upon affection, reading, knowledge, skill, more of each than you have. Inspiration, work, growing older, patience, for patience joins time to eternity. Any readers who like your poems, doubt their judgment. Breathe with unconditional breath the unconditioned air. Shun electric wire. Communicate slowly. Live a three-dimensioned life. Stay away from screens. Stay away from anything that obscures the place it is in. There are no unsacred places. There are only sacred places and desecrated places. Accept what comes from silence. Make the best you can of it. Of the little words that come out of the silence, like prayers prayed back to the one who prays. Make a poem that does not disturb the silence from which it came. In that spirit of sacred places, let us worship together. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro. I'm the Reverend Sadie Lansdale, and I'm the minister of this congregation. Unitarian Universalists believe that each person has a trustworthy relationship with the Spirit, with the Holy, with the source of life, with what some call God, though we name it and know it differently from one another. And we believe that because we are interconnected, no one is free until we all are free. So we strive to build beloved community here on earth, in our fellowship with one another, and in our work for justice. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday with us, we are stronger because you are here. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, many genders, many sexualities. We are all growing, all learning, and all loved. Should you have your phone on in church making noise?
No.
Should you take your mask off?
No.
We are singing today a very warm welcome to our guest musicians, Chelsea Morrow and Laura Luna. We're so happy to have y'all back with us. If you're online and you'd like to get more connected to the church, you can click the link in the description of this YouTube video and let us know how we can connect with you. If you're in person, you could do that too, but you can also stop and chat at the visitors table after worship. If you're joining us online, go ahead and say hello in the chat, and if you're joining us in the sanctuary, won't you turn around and wave hello to everyone joining us online.
My name is Francesca Ball, and I'm a member of this congregation. Ava Keeker will light our chalice. Please join me in our chalice lighting words found in your order of service. We light this chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, to remind us to connect in spirituality and service, to create for each other and the world, and to create loving community. A covenant contains the promises we make to one another in response to the great gift of living, holding ourselves to these holy aspirations. Will you join me in our church covenant? We, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Greensboro, do covenant to promote a search for personal quest, speak and act with caring, courtesy, and love, thereby maintaining emotional, physical, and spiritual safety for all. Support UUCG and denominational efforts with our resources. Combat injustice while promoting equality. Nurture our children on their spiritual journey. Hold ourselves to this covenant, especially during times of conflict and disagreement. Will you rise and body your spirit for the hymn 16, "'Tis a Gift to Be Simple'?
Good morning, everybody. We're going to do this as a round. So, we're going to sing it through once, and then Marie is going to lead these two sections in singing the first part of the round. I will lead the next two, this section here, these two sections here, in the second part of the round. Marie's sections will sing it through twice completely. These sections, just look at me and I'll show you when to cut off. Okay? Oh, you are? Okay, so I'm not doing it. You're doing both. Oh, okay.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to love.
Sometimes harmony, sometimes cacophony, always extraordinary to make music together. That was pretty, we're out of practice. That was pretty good. How beautiful it is to be together this morning. We gather in gratitude, turning our hearts to thanks and praise for the gift of living. In the presence of the Spirit that animates all life, and in the knowledge that we are powerfully, profoundly connected to all that is, all that has been, and all that will be. During these few minutes of silence, you can focus on something you're grateful for, someone you are remembering, especially today, or just the sensation of your chair supporting you. We find an even more comfortable place in your seat and take a few easy breaths at your own pace as we settle into our silence together. I invite you now to offer the names of those people on your hearts, living or dead, near or far, that this community might hold them in prayer and in love. You can type them in the comments. If you're joining us online, you may speak them now. To all these, we add Rin, Kelly, Patrick, and Jack. Will you join me in prayer? Spirit of life and love, source of all. We know you in the buds and the flowers and all the plant life that still looks dead. And in those floral mirrors of our own hearts, things that are blooming for us, the things that are just emerging for us, and the places where we still yet feel barren. We ask for peace. And where there is none to be found, we ask for patience. For the gentle unfolding of time to work its magic in us and in the world. Where there is courage, may it be shared. Where there is heartbreak and terror, may there at least be a hot meal. Where there is overwhelm, may there be just the tiniest bit of sensation or inspiration breaking through. Where there is sorrow, may there be company. And where there is joy, let it be magnified. We ask these things for ourselves, for those we love, and for those we do not love. Amen. In our singing meditation, we sing the things we often cannot say. Our prayer and yearning, our heartbreak and our hope. We'll sing this several times so that it comes to you like breath. You can stay seated and sing from your heart number 1048 in your teal hymnal, Ubi Caritas. This hymn means, where there is love, there is God.
Deus ibi Hello, my name is Brandy Ragianti. I'm a member of this congregation and a member of the Board of Trustees. I'm here to talk to you today about the launch of this year's ACT campaign. As you may have seen, some leprechauns were in the building yesterday doing stuff. Some of you may be asked to assist those leprechauns. Please remember to maintain confidentiality in any of your leprechaun dealings. So this is a really special day for me, and I'm going to try not to cry, but Sadie knows I will fail, probably. This is actually the first time our whole family has been to church since the pandemic started. And it's been really wonderful to sing with you. But we still feel like this is our home, and we have felt connected to the church the entire time the pandemic has been going on. So first I'm going to tell you about how ACT campaign is going to work this year, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how my family has experienced church during the pandemic and what we're looking forward to. I also haven't spoken in public for 2 years, so have some grace with me, please. So this year we're looking ahead to all the things we can hopefully do in person together. I know a lot of you are very excited to be back in the choir and singing in front of the congregation. I'm personally very excited about how our church service is structured now, and that someone will watch my children while I get to think about adult spirituality, talk with other people who don't want to talk about Sophia the First or My Little Pony. We're planning to recommit ourselves as a welcoming congregation this year. As a queer parent, that's extremely important to me. We're also going to continue this lovely paid regular live stream so that people who are unable to come to church for any reason can still see us and be with us, which has really been a lifeline for my family during the pandemic. So this year we're asking that people send in their pledges by March 21st. We're being very, very short this year. Just fill out the form and send it. You can do it. And hopefully you will be willing to increase your pledge by 5% so we can continue to fund all of the cool new things that we are doing. If you have questions, you can ask myself or Kathy. Where are you, Kathy? There she is, her leprechaun hat. We'd be happy to answer those questions. I strongly encourage you to email me because I stay home with the kids all day and you don't want to talk through that. But at night, I will talk to you still about the campaign. You should be expecting, you've already got some information via email. A mailing will also go out next week when Julie is back from vacation. So what I wanted to talk about today was how Clara, the little 3-year-old who was in here but missed her sister and had to go to nursery care, how she has experienced church life during the pandemic, because it's been really central to how our whole family has experienced church life. So I was hoping to videotape her or have her talk, but if you've met a 3-year-old, she decided she was not into that. But she did let me interview her. So I'm going to tell you some of the things she mentioned about church. She loved all of the outdoor events she could participate in, both at the church and at the playground. It gave her an opportunity to talk to Reverend Sadie. It gave her an opportunity to talk us into buying donuts as a special treat for Reverend Sadie on the way to Playground Church. And you can't say no to that. Of course we bought them. She came running home one day to tell me that somebody named Mr. Luke was there and that he had a guitar and that he played the guitar at the park. It was very exciting. She also frequently came home just very excited that she had met a new friend or learned something new, that she got to play a cool instrument. So just a really lovely time for her every time she went. And since she's going to these UU functions with other UU parents, it is so much more comfortable for myself and for my spouse because we can be reasonably assured that the children she's meeting, their families are going to affirm our family, which can be a difficult thing. We had a lot of difficulties during the pandemic. One of those is that our beloved dog Snatch passed away, which was really hard on Clara. So Cindy sent her this beautiful card, checked in with her, and what Cindy may not know is that Clara walked around with that card for an entire week. She loved it. It made her feel so loved and connected to other people at a time when we weren't able to see a lot of people. We also loved getting the care package that many of you assembled here at the church. Clara was delighted that she got to play with the balloon, because we usually don't let her. And then there were just, she started having big questions. She wanted to know, what happens when you die? This is what I think. What do you think? And we weren't expecting those questions at 3. So we talked to Cindy, and she lent us books through the mail. She helped us answer her questions. And then finally, Clara likes to sing Shalom Havarim all day long, every day. I'm a little sad she went to nursery care because she's going to miss it today if we sing it. So as you could hear, the church has really supported us throughout the pandemic. We are delighted to be here in person again. Clara was delighted that Miss Cindy was doing childcare today and she could see people. I'm excited to hopefully eventually join the choir and to have this adult religious exploration time and just to see what we can do as a church together. That's really all I have to say, except for, if you didn't check your email, the leprechauns will continue to prank this church until you get some pledge forms in. So please expect additional pranks. It occurs to me that we've not thought of a way to prank the live stream people, but now that I've thought of that, we will do that as well. Don't worry, live stream folks. We're coming for you too. Okay. So please give to the pledge drive. Thank you so much for supporting our family during the pandemic and being such wonderful people. And I am just thrilled to see you in person and be with you. Thanks.
This story is adapted from The 3 Questions by Leo Tolstoy.
I am the king, and it occurred to me this morning that if I always knew the right time to begin everything, if I knew who were the right people to listen to and whom to avoid, and above all, if I always knew what was the most important thing to do, I would never fail in anything I might undertake. That sounds like a pretty good deal. So I am proclaiming throughout my kingdom that I will give great reward to anyone who would teach me these 3 things. What is the most important time? Who are the most important people? What's the most important thing to do?
I know. In order to know the most important time, one must draw up in advance a table of days, months, and years, and must live strictly according to it. Only in this way could everything be done at its proper time. No. It's impossible to decide the most important time before it comes. But if you never, ever allow yourself to get distracted, and you always pay attention to everything that's going on, you'll do things at the most important time. You two are ridiculous. However attentive you might be to what's going on, it's impossible for one person to decide correctly. A council of wise people, led by me, will help you to appoint the right time for everything. Listen, there are some things which cannot wait to be laid before a council, but about which you have to decide whether or not to do right in the very moment. In order to decide that, you have to know beforehand what's going to happen. It's only magicians who know that. And therefore, in order to know the right time for every action, one must consult magicians.
Well, what about which people are the most important people?
Look, obviously the people you need the most are your counselors. No, it's your priests.
It's your generals. It's your magicians.
Okay, well, what about my third question? What's the right thing to do?
Science. Wait, I don't need this. Religious worship. Skill in warfare. Magic.
That doesn't help me at all. I'll go consult the hermit, who is widely renowned for the wisdom. And I'll take off my crown so they won't know who I am. I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you 3 questions. What is the most important time? Who are the most important people? And what's the most important thing to do? You are tired. Let me take the spade and work a while for you.
Thanks.
I've dug 2 beds.
Wow, that was fast. Why don't you rest and I'll work a while? Or not? Some time has passed.
Well, the sun is going down. I came to you, wise one, for an answer to my question. If you can give me none, tell me so, and I will return home.
Here comes someone running. Let's see who it is.
Ow, I'm injured. Oh.
Oh no! He's bleeding a lot. But you're bandaging it. Well, that took longer than we thought. He's asleep. We should go to sleep too.
Oh, wow. I thought I was for sure gonna die. Oh no, forgive me.
You haven't done anything wrong to me, and I have nothing to forgive you for.
You don't know it, but I am your enemy. I came here to try to murder you for the revenge you executed my brother and seized his land. I knew you had come to visit the hermit, and I followed you. I meant to ambush you on your way back, but you took a very long time. So I came out of my hiding place, and your guards wounded me. If you hadn't helped me, I surely would have died. If you'll accept it, I'll be loyal to you forever.
That's a lot. Certainly I forgive you, and I'll send my doctors to see you, and I'll return your brother's land to you.
Thank you.
See here, wise one. Please answer my 3 questions. What's the most important time? Who is the most important person? And what's the most important thing to do?
But you already have your answers.
Did you know them? That
Do you not see? If you hadn't taken pity on me yesterday when I was tired digging my beds, and you had gone on your way, that man would have attacked you, and you would have regretted not staying with me. So the most important time was when I was digging the bed. And I was the most important person, and to do good to me was your most important thing. And afterwards, when he ran to us, the most important time was when you were attending to him. For if you had not bound up his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important person, and what you did for him was the most important thing. Remember then, there is only one time that is important. Now. It's the most important time because it's the only one when we have any power. The most important person is the one you're with, for no one knows whether we will ever be with anyone else, since we don't know when we will die. And the most important affair is to do that person good, because for that purpose alone were we sent into this life. The end.
If this life is one act, why do we lay all these traps? We put them right in our path when we just want to be free. I will not waste my days making up all kinds of ways to worry about all the things that will not happen to me. So I just let go of what I know I don't know, and I'll only do this by living in the moment, living our life easy and breezy, with a peace of my mind, with peace in my heart, with peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I'm living in the moment. I'm letting myself off the hook for things I've done. I let my past go past, and now I'm having more fun. I'm letting go of the thoughts that do not make me strong, and I believe this way can be the same for everyone. And if I fall asleep, I know you'll be the one who'll always remind me to live in the moment, to live in my life easy and breezy, with the peace in my mind, with peace in my heart, with peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I can't walk through life facing backwards. I've tried more than once to just make sure. I was denied the future I've been searching for. I spun around and hurt no more by living in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, with peace in my mind, peace in my heart, the peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. By living in the moment, living my life easy and breezy, with the peace in my mind, with peace in my heart, the peace in my soul. Wherever I'm going, I'm already home. I'm living in the moment.
We invite our children, 4th grade and under, and their teachers to go to, and their, whoever's watching them right now, to go to Playground Fellowship, and then class is after service. And the rest of us will sing them out. Go in peace, go in love, go in joy. Go in peace, go in peace, go in peace, amen, amen. Go in joy, go in joy, go in joy, amen, amen. Go in love. here in this story by Tolstoy is the instruction to be in the present. I confess to you that is the most difficult task I am ever confronted with. I am a planner and an idea generator by nature, and somewhere in my life I picked up the idea that a good plan would solve all of my possible future problems. So I took that idea and I planted it somewhere deep in my soul. Of course, I'm not correct. The late Reverend Dr. Forrest Church, a Unitarian Universalist minister, wrote that religion is the human response to being alive and having to die. The hermit in our story reminds the king and all of us that the most important time is now, because it's the only time you have any power. And the most important person is the one you're with. And the reason why has nothing to do with either you or them, but rather you just don't know when you will be with anyone else. Our gathering, our worship, our telling stories, our holding up things of worth, our silence, our song, our prayer, our laughter, all these are spiritual practices which help us reckon with being alive and having to die. Rather than tell you things about the present moment for the next 15 minutes, I'll show you another spiritual practice and invite you along. Francesca is going to read our opening words again from the poet Wendell Berry, and she'll read this poem 3 times. If you were in our spiritual practice class this fall, this will be familiar for you. This is a sacred reading practice, and there are 3 invitations alongside this poem. The first is to listen. When you hear it a second time, listen for a word or a phrase that speaks to you. If you've got a pen, you can write it down somewhere in the insert in your order of service. There's plenty of space on that blank paper. The third time, you'll listen for what the poem might be saying to your life. So Francesca will read this poem 3 times, and she'll leave us time for silence and reflection. I'll go sit over there, and I will answer her invitations at the microphone as if she is leading a class, which I am participating in. So pray for me, since there aren't any pages of carefully planned sermon in here. There is only the sacred space we enter together every week, the words of a poet, and the invitation to practice presence, since we heard in Tolstoy's story. That's the most important thing.
First, just listen. Make a place to sit down. Sit down. Be quiet. You must depend upon affection, reading, knowledge, skill, more of each than you have, inspiration, work, growing, older, patience, for patience joins to eternity. Any readers who like your poems doubt their judgment. Breathe with unconditional breath in unconditioned air. Shun electrical wire. Communicate slowly. Live a 3-dimensional life. Stay away from screens. Stay away from anything that obscures the place it is in. There are no unsacred places. There are only sacred places and desecrated places. Accept what comes from silence. Make the best you can of it. Of the little words that come out of silence, like prayers, prayed back to the one who prays. Make a poem that does not disturb the silence from which it came. Then listen for a word or phrase that speaks to you. And you can write that down if you like. Make a place to sit down. Sit down. Be quiet. You must depend upon affection, reading, knowledge, skill, more of each than you have, inspiration, work, growing older, patience, for patience joins time to eternity. Any readers who like your poems, doubt their judgment. Breathe with unconditional breath in unconditioned air. Shun electric wire. Communicate slowly. Live a three-dimensional life. Stay away from screens. Stay away from anything that obscures the place it is in. There are no unsacred places. There are only sacred places and desecrated places. Accept what comes from silence. Make the best you can of it, of the little words that come out of the silence, like prayers prayed back to the one who prays. Make a poem that does not disturb the silence from which it came.
The phrase that stands out to me is more of each than you have.
Finally, listen for what the poem may be saying to your life. Make a place to sit down. Sit down, be quiet. You must depend upon affection, reading, knowledge, skill, more of each than you have, inspiration, work, growing older, patience, for patience joins time to eternity. Any readers who like your poems, doubt their judgment. Breathe with unconditional breath, the unconditioned air. Shun electric wire. Communicate slowly. Live a three-dimensional life. Stay away from screens. Stay away from anything that obscures the place it is in. There are no unsacred places. There are only sacred places and desecrated places. Accept what comes from silence. Make the best you can of it, of the little words that come out of silence, like prayers prayed back to the one who prays. Make a poem that does not disturb the silence from which it came. May it be so for you and so for all of us. Amen.
Oh, sorry, I should have deleted that. I'll do the last one. I think the instruction from this poem for my life. I just hear, there are no unsacred places. I was told by a friend who's a physical therapist that when I lie down, I don't lie down. I laid down on his table, and I don't trust the table to hold me. I'm doing it. So the instruction for my life is wherever that table is, wherever the bed is, wherever the ground is, there are no unsacred places. And I need more than what I have. What I'm trying to learn, partly because my back hurts, but also partly for my own spiritual growth, is to learn to trust the ground to hold me up. And I can do that, like, right now. I mean, it's hard, but, theoretically, I could do it right now. I could do it when I'm driving. I could do it when I'm sitting in a coffee shop. I could do it when I lie down on the ground in my backyard. And that there are no unsacred places, right? That the source of life is always reaching for us. And what's up to us is if we're going to let it bear us up. I know that this is true in my life. I wonder if this is true for you in your lives. I think it's true in the life of the church, in a time of extraordinary uncertainty, but also extraordinary creativity. There are no unsacred places. For many of us, I think we feel like our lives are coming back to life. Certainly feels like the church is coming back to life. And the instruction I hear from me is to try to remember that there are no unsacred places, to try to trust, more fully and more physically that there is more than what I have or what I decide or what I can see. May that be so for you and so for us all. Amen. Will you rise in body or in spirit for our musical response number 6 in your gray hymnal, Just as Long as I Have Breath.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment used to be through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
One of the ways that we live our mission to create loving community is to contribute financially to the ministries of this congregation and to the good work of our community partners. One of the ministries of this church is our Minister's Discretionary Fund, which is available to anyone in a tough spot, member or not. We can help with things like light bills, rent, groceries, or other needs. Reverend Sadie's email and phone number are on the back of your order of service, or you can contact the church through our website. Our offering this month goes to the Triad Health Project. They're an organization focused on ending the stigma of HIV, encouraging testing and safer sex practices, and advocating for the worth, dignity, well-being, and resources of people living with HIV. If you'd like to make a contribution via PayPal to the church for our offering to be split with the Triad Health Project, you can do so at the link in the description of this video. You can also mail a check. Ushers will come forward to collect the offering with long baskets. Our offering will now gratefully, safely be received.
All right. This side, you sing with me. This side, you sing with Laura. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. Together we share, from this we live.
I wanna leave my footprints on the sands of time. Know there was something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I'll leave no regrets. Leave something to remember, so they won't forget I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here.
Will you join me in our chalice extinguishing words? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
During our postlude, our youth and teachers can go to their religious exploration in the classrooms. Anyone who needs to or wishes to leave can go during that time with our blessing. And those of us who stay will engage 3 spiritual practices together. The first is the practice of silence. We'll hold 5 minutes of silence, during which you can write in the inserts in your order of service or simply reflect alone. The second is the practice of small group sharing, where you'll respond to this question: how does our worship service today intersect with your spiritual journey? In small groups of 2 or 3. So if you'd like to be in a group, you'll raise your hand. If you would prefer to just reflect alone, you'll go like this. The third is then the practice of testimony. So we'll have a microphone, and anyone who wishes to can come to the microphone and share. And again, the same question: how does this service intersect with your spiritual journey? We will explain all of this again clearly until we get really good at it. If you're joining us online, this part is not yet relevant to you, but this could be pretty easily replicated on Zoom. So if anyone joins us regularly online and you want to figure out how to host this on Zoom, send me an email and we'll talk. Go in peace, go in love, go in joy. And remember that now is the only time you have any power. And whoever you're with is the most important person. And the most important thing is to do good for them, because we don't know how long we have. Amen. You can place your hands over your hearts as we sing our benediction hymn. You can rise in body or in spirit. This is a Hebrew song that means peace, dear friends, until we meet again.